height of the hijinks, it was like me and Butt Paper and TR and Palace all like went on this like fast food
Those are
dance
all
party
people's
binge.
names.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, anyway, so like we got this boombox and we were just playing Turn the Beat Around like really loud, and we went into a McDonald's and we were just, just dancing around, just getting down to the disco music, and then the fucking manager's like, "You all need to vacate the property right now or I'm going to call the police." And Butt Paper was all like, "But I thought you aimed to make us smile." And yeah, we ended up leaving. It was like, whatever. Then we went to Long Dong Silver's and we started playing Turn the Beat Around, and we actually got people to start kind of like dancing with us and stuff. And then the manager was like, "Oh, you guys just need to turn it down. Not off, but down." And then we went to the Subway, like just right across the way, is right next to that Taste of India in Norman. And we started fucking dancing, and they started dancing with us too. Like the people that worked there started dancing with us.
Fuck yeah,
And
dude.
there were all of these, like elders, sitting, like trying to eat their tuna salad sandwiches, looking at us like, "What the fuck are these kids doing?" And so anyway, the manager there is like, "Well, you guys, you could come back late at night and we'll dance with you, but during the day we got a lot of old people," and just kind of pointed at all the old people. Like, jeez.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Subway told us we could come back, but I mean, fast food dance party, man.
That totally checks out for like all the people that I've ever known that have worked at Subway. That is totally believable.
We should do that again.
I don't know what it is about Subway that everybody who works there just does not give a shit about anything.
I had a friend of mine that actually was a manager at a Subway for a while, and he was in the midst of trying a new medication for insomnia. And then whenever the cops found him, whenever the alarms were going off at the Subway that he managed, they found him in his banana hammock making sandwiches and just kind of piling them up, like, at the side of the register. He had like 10 sandwiches, and he's just in his banana hammock making,
like at the Subway making sandwiches.
Yeah, his medication made him sleepwalk. Sleep drove to the Subway and then fucking was making sandwiches in his banana hammock.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he quit taking that medication.
What did he do with all the sandwiches though?
That's a good question.
Did he sleep eat them?
No. I mean, he had slept at, yeah. But yeah, had ate a lot in his sleep, but, lost a lot of weight after quitting that medicine.
Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx.
Hi, this is Matt, and I'm Facebook friends with Tribal War Neil.
Who the hell is Tribal War Neil?
The first singer in Nausea.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, my name is Sabrina, and Tay Zonde follows me on Twitter. And this is
Sumo Punx.
Woo!
Oh, yeah, I forgot I'm, friends with Hamilton Morris, too.
You're friends with the fucking drugs guy from Vice?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
You don't believe the pictures that come out of that guy. It's insane.
Oh, I believe it. I do. But if we're talking about, Facebook followers, I gotta say, I'm followed by a lot of very big name meme pages, so... You can be jealous of me if it makes you feel better.
I'm Facebook friends with Elam Garrick, and I know it's just really a person behind the name of Elam Garrick from Deep Space Nine, but still, they interact with me as if they are Elam Garrick. Yes, it is. You don't talk about Garrick that way.
Person.
Elam Garrick.
Next generation's better. Anywho, this is the second episode in our series where we are interviewing different people from across the country who have started their own sumo clubs.
And it is actually a very busy time in the world of sumo right now.
Oh, yes. Lots of stuff going on. So we had the Sumo Nationals or today.
Today,
Yeah, today. We didn't go to the Nationals, but it was going on at the same time that we were actually at the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens for the Japanese Spring Festival.
Yeah, the Dallas Sumo Club had a demo that we put out there, and that was a whole lot of fun. I rolled around in the grass. I am completely bitten up by bugs. But it was a blast. There was a lot of people that wanted to participate and give it a try, and that was really cool.
A lot of people donated
That's
and
awesome.
bought t-shirts, and there were a few people too who were like, okay, give me the address to the practice space. I want to come check this out.
Lots of folks getting into sumo. That was really cool to see. But whenever we got home, we watched the Grand Sumo Breakdowns feed of the Nationals, and that was brutal. So Kellyanne Ball was ferocious, just watching her just tear through everybody. Lady Galindo was, gave a pretty commanding performance as well. Just watching everybody, everyone. We saw Marky Nass on there. We saw Caleb Backus, Brandon
I couldn't
Alexander.
tell if he got hurt or not.
Oh, Captain Americus. Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, you showed me that picture of his toe.
Yeah, poor Americus's toe. That was
was
brutal.
gnarly.
And we saw Marky Nass get hurt. We thought, but let us know if you're okay.
I don't know. I tried to message him. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it was awesome. I really wish we could have gone, but I'm really glad that we got to do something sumo related today, even if it was just local. It was still exciting,
And it was fun. The kids loved it.
Yeah, but the Nationals happened. That was brutal. It was awesome. Watch it. It's on Grand Sumo Breakdowns page. It just says Sumo Nationals 2022.
Well, we have a pretty long interview in this episode because we actually interviewed two people, Nicholas Ton and Paul Gutierrez from Shogeki Sumo Club down in Houston.
It was a whole lot of fun, a lot of energy. They were just really great guys. I'd love to just hang out with them and just shoot the shit sometime. But
yeah, that's kind of what it felt like during the whole interview too. Just hanging out with, our fucking buds,
Yeah, really, really good dudes. But yeah, give it a listen. It is awesome.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get that started for you guys. Like I said, it's pretty long, but it's totally worth it. So here's the interview. Do you want to do a little intro?
We could do an intro. We could honestly just start saying, okay, hi. All right, this is Nicholas Tan with Shogeki Sumo. He is the Oyakata, and he is also an amateur boxer.
Yes.
And so we wanted to hear a little bit more about how you started Shogeki Sumo, what your origin story is, and what type of maybe some obstacles or anything that you had to overcome. So first and foremost, what is your origin story with sumo?
Okay, for me, the way I got started in sumo actually is through the Texas Classic 2020. Yeah, 2020.
Nice.
Yes, 2020. I actually saw their ad because on Instagram, Mighty Eagles ad. The flyer thing that really spoke out to me, I think it said something like, it was either something like no experience required or everyone is welcome or one of those two things. And I was like, well, I have no experience. so I went over there and then I lost all my matches, which was which was fun in a way, in its own way.
Yeah.
Actually I do, I forget the word, but I equate the fact that I lost all my matches with me liking sumo even more. Because to me, if I went into it and I won, let's just say half the matches or whatever, I'd be like, well, I have no experience. I just went against a bunch of people who is supposed to have experience. Why am I winning? Does that mean that there's not that much to it? But then I lost all my matches. Like, okay, so there's things to this. So actually, I did enjoy the fact that I lost. However, there are some people that will go in there and they just wreck. That was not me. But in terms of, I think even before that, my sense of time might be wrong, but I believe even before that, the reason I saw the ad in the first place was because I think I looked up #sumo because of the fact that I watched the anime Hinomaru Sumo.
Oh yeah.
And
Of course. That is
Yep, of
so
course.
many different people's origin story with Sumo. That's his origin story with
really?
Sumo.
Like I used to get whiskey drunk with a buddy of mine back in like the early 2000s, and we would see the Polish and Russian teams on ESPN
Yeah.
8 at 4 in the morning, and so we'd be like, "Oh yeah, let's watch. That's badass." But I didn't actually get into wanting to participate in sumo until I watched Hinomaru Sumo.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome because I always for me I have a weird thing where when I watch like some kind of sports anime, I'll either start watching the actual sport or I'll get into it because that's like you mentioned before with amateur boxing. I watched Hajime no Ippo, which is a boxing anime. Then I went into the boxing gym, trained for like 2 years, and I competed at the Golden Gloves. And then same thing with kendo. Well, kendo was kind of backwards. I did kendo first, and then I watched the anime. But thing with Go, you know, like that Japanese game with like the black and white rocks. I watched Hikaru no Go, and then I started playing Go. So it's the same thing with sumo. I watched the sumo anime, and then I started doing sumo. So that is essentially my kind of long-ish backstory on how I got into sumo.
See, it's always funny that any of those kind of like competition style shonen anime really just motivate you to do whatever it is that they're doing.
Well, and anime in general is such a gateway drug for so many things. Like, outside of sports of any kind, even, I can think of various subcultures that people got into because they first saw it in anime.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, cat boys or something like that. But
Whenever you decided to start like a sumo club, did you ever have any previous experience with like organizing groups of people?
Okay, so in terms of for organizing groups of people, I guess I did have some experience in that, you know, just in university life with you know, or like, you know, the student orgs kind of stuff. But you know, that's that. And then I had some experience in my regular job because I work for the health department in Houston.
Yeah.
And our job has like outreach and stuff like that. So sometimes I have to, you know, gather people and plan things out and initiate whatever plan that we have for whatever project. But also, it's a weird story the way Shogeki started because we were kind of born out of the Pasadena club, champion sumo into Shogeki, and that's a whole different story. But yeah, so when Shogeki itself started, we didn't start just like with just me and then trying to recruit people. I already did have a solid base of at the time four members, including myself.
Nice. So you kind of already had like a good core, and
Yeah.
So with the fighting facilities, I noticed that you guys are with O Athletic. Is that still?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, athletic. Mhm.
So is that like, do they like rent you mat time, or is it kind of like you're part of the organization and then they just kind of allow you like class time, or?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point because they allowed us. O Athletic is actually not like a fighting facility. It's just a regular gym, or I like to call it a premium health club because it's quite literally that. Like it's kind of expensive to be honest, but they have like a lot of amenities. They have that steam room, sauna. They have like what do they call them? The endless infinity pools or something where you can swim, and they have like the treadmill for like recovery, and they have like a
nice.
trying to get like a crowd therapy chamber. So they're like the really cool facility.
Okay, we're going on vacation down to Houston.
That sounds primo.
Yeah, and then so in terms of to actually answer your question, they offered both. When I originally talked to them, they were like, oh, so what we can do is we can rent you the mat time, 2 hours, because that's what our training session is. They're like, oh, for 2 hours that will be $100 an hour. And I don't know if my face said something to him like, oh god, that's a lot of money. But then he quickly was like, or the other option is you guys can sign on as members to the gym itself, and then you can form your own group inside the gym, and then just use the mat at your specified time that you give us, and we'll set up a class and everything, and then you guys can, you know, just train here for essentially for free. Just as long as you're paying to be a member. I was like, okay, let's talk about the membership fees and things like that. And then that's the route we went.
That sounds a little bit like less pricey than the actual $100 an hour. Like, did you see my face? I was kind of like, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot. Oh, one second, really quick, because Paul is asking on what Discord, so I'm gonna just text him really quickly.
Oh, okay.
And so he might pop in. We'll see.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
But yeah, he's more than welcome to, I mean, like, because like I said, this is super casual. We're not like, you gotta be right here right now.
Yeah.
I am perpetually late to everything.
It's
like,
true.
Me too.
There's a reason that Sumo Punx doesn't have like a set schedule for releasing episodes.
It's my bad.
No, we got a lot of other shit going on in our life.
Yeah, and I'm native, so I run on Indian time. It's just the way it goes.
Well, while we're waiting for Paul, we can continue if you guys want to.
Yeah.
So one thing that I wanted to ask was, of course, besides the membership fees and everything, what were some of the obstacles that you ran into when trying to start your own sumo club? Some unforeseen hurdles, you might say.
I wouldn't say right now that it's necessarily a hurdle. Oh, looks like Paul's connecting.
Hey, Paul.
Still can't hear you, Paul. Because it looks like he can hear us. Because it looks like he's responding.
Yeah, he's got to tap on the speech bubble instead of the actual join audio.
Damn.
There you are.
Oh, okay, there you go.
The crazy thing is, like, I couldn't even hear y'all at all. So as y'all were giving me advice, I couldn't hear nothing.
Oh.
So sorry about that.
Oh,
I'm
you're
not
good.
gonna lie. I was not gonna lie. I was asleep, and my daughter woke me up.
Oh.
And I looked at my phone and I was like, "Oh snap! It's already 9:15." So sorry about that.
Oh, you're
I
good.
don't even have a
It's
shirt
quite
on.
alright.
I'm gonna go ahead and sumo style with no shirt today.
Nice. That's okay. It's super casual around here,
Yeah,
so
super
don't even worry about it. And we were just talking about how we're always late to everything too. So
Yeah,
we're not going to hold this against you. We promise.
All right, so since we had already asked Nicholas about his origin story with sumo, so we want to hear what... Oh, first, everybody, I do want to introduce Paul I can't talk today. Paul Gutierrez, right? Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then my YouTube name is Vaping Sumo Guy.
Nice. All right, so the crew's all here. So what is your origin story with sumo?
Well, I see a lot of anime posters in the background, so I'm assuming it's going to be very similar to Nicholas.
For me, I went to a show called Anime Matsuri in Houston, Texas. And I was there with my brother. We were walking around because we're anime fans. And I saw some on the schedule that there was an actual sumo event. And I was like, that's a real thing, you know? I didn't know that was a real thing here. So we kind of walked into there and was able to meet Yamamoto Yama and Remy and Andrew from California.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And I actually spoke with Andrew and I was like, is this even a thing like in the States? And he was like, yeah, people compete all the time. And I was like, what if I want to get into this? And he was like, well, just give me your email and I'll send you somewhere. So he gave me the email and that's how I met Will. And Will is the one that basically contacted me the rest of the way through and got to my first practice with Will. That's where I met Nicholas and the whole gang.
Nice. Yeah, he's the one. Andrew's the one that sold me my giant 8-meter long mawashi. Like when I needed 8 meters at the time, I was 520 pounds, and that thing was like, I was like, all right, it's a good fit. And now it's like too long. But,
I was saying you're part of what's his name, Corey's group, right?
Yeah, Dallas Sumo.
Dallas
Yes,
Sumo Club.
yes. Dallas Sumo Club. Okay, I thought I recognized you.
All right. So, whenever you were starting Shogeki, or getting involved in Shogeki with Nicholas, were there any type of like obstacles that either you or Nicholas, kind of encountered, along the way?
Getting people to join, getting people to come by and actually watch us and actually learn what sumo actually is. Because I guarantee you, just like I'm pretty sure y'all have heard the same thing. They all think we're just in diapers wrestling each other.
Of course, it's always fat guys in diapers always gets me. I'm like, ugh.
That was something that we specifically wanted to talk about in the very first Sumo Punx episode because we were like, God damn it, we're so tired of hearing this.
It's always the diapers.
It's such an annoyance.
So
it is accurate.
So when you talk to people, though, about sumo and talk to them about possibly joining, what types of people are you talking to? Is it just your friends, or do you see people like out and about in public and think to yourself, they look like they'd be a good sumo wrestler? How does that typically happen? What's recruitment like?
For me, it's actually quite easy. So like I personally am a regional manager for vape shops and smoke shops throughout a couple stores in Houston.
So you know,
And so yeah, I know people. And then so I have a friend of mine that for my birthday, she got me like a LED vaping sumo guy thing, like
nice.
light up thing. So I keep that at the store now. So now a lot of people will come in and be like, vaping sumo guy, like sumo. I'm like, yeah, sumo. I was like, I didn't injure my knee from jogging. I was like, you will not see me jogging. No, thank you.
Oh, that's kind of where I'm at with my workouts currently. I'm like, man, I know I just have to start jogging. I don't want to do it.
See, for me, it's too much impact on the knees. I don't feel like doing it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And knees are very important for what we do.
Definitely.
For sure. So for the people who do end up actually joining, though, what types of people typically have been like, okay, yeah, this is something I really want to do?
Actually, had a couple. I would say for sure, one guy was very, very, very active, but schooling, got a little difficult. College is a little difficult, so he is taking a little break right now. But I would say Omar had that drive. Omar, one of our members, he still to this day. I mean, we had chankonabe at his
I thought
house.
that's who you were talking about, Omar. Who's the original guy you were talking about? Was that Omar you were talking about originally?
Correct, because me and Omar started at
yeah.
the same time.
Yeah,
At the same time.
Mhm.
Yeah, me and him, we actually didn't actually meet each other for a while because every time I'd show up to practice, he wouldn't, and every time he'd show up to practice, I wouldn't. And it took about a month and a half.
It was a
before we
solid
actually
month or
faced each
something
other.
before they both started at the same time, but they missed each other in practice for like a month or so.
And then we finally got to face each other, and yeah, when it comes to me, Omar and Nick, we're very competitive people. So we like to, make sure we beat each other.
Nice.
Yeah.
Same thing with Alan. Alan is a really good wrestler too. I want to get him in competitions too.
Nice. So did you guys run into people that are more into like other martial arts, or people that might just be like anime fans, or people that were just kind of like, I'm curious about this? I mean,
I would say majority of them were martial arts. Majority of almost everybody have done some sort of a sport. Now, granted, there's still a handful of people that just watch anime, never done a sport in their life, and still come train with us. And it's awesome because I love watching the first workout where people are like, my leg.
yeah.
And it's good to see because sometimes you'll have people that are like, oh yeah, I do Muay Thai, I do Jiu-Jitsu, I do all this. They'll come do a workout with us and they're like, bro, how do you do that many squats in a session? Like,
Because
because
our practice
2 hours of squats.
yeah, because our practice usually starts out with right now on this month every time we practice we do 100 shikos.
Damn.
Oh
So
man,
it's,
see,
yeah.
so you got that's hardcore. I think we were doing 10 for every person that was there. And then once it started to be like 8 or 10, we're like, okay, we're just doing 50.
Well, actually, we kind of did it when I planned it. I kind of did it the opposite way because we used to do that, like 10 for every person there, and then we would get like 4 or 5 people, maybe 6 on like a good day. But then I was like, I feel like we should be doing more. Let's just do 100 no matter what. So it's kind of the opposite.
Oh, so you're the
That's
reason why I
hardcore.
have to go through pain.
Do you like to adhere to more of a traditional Keiko structure, or do you kind of like build your own thing, have something more modern? How do you typically have that organized?
So I built the program that we work under about 2 months ago, right, Paul? Because we started in the
Correct.
middle of February, so that's about 2 months that I built it.
Well, I mean, you've been doing our workout programs forever. It's just this
Well,
is the first one you actually
like
Wrote it
actually
all
wrote down and structured. Yeah. But in general, it's kind of a mix. But for the most part, I want to say it is like the traditional Keiko. It's like I really actually base it off of Tom's book, the Sumo Skills.
Oh yeah.
Book. He has a run through of like the Keiko, and I'm just like, okay, I looked at that, and it's basically following the same thing because our Keiko is the one thing that we don't really do is stretching, and one of the big reasons that is it uses a lot of time. Like I did technically program in like just 6 minutes of stretching, but like like we don't have that much time for stretching.
Yeah, for me personally, I don't like stretching anyway.
He just doesn't stretch.
You remember my catchphrase?
What was it again? It was like
A lion doesn't stretch before it gets a gazelle.
Yeah.
True. I think my buddy Khalil could get behind that one.
Oh yeah.
Khalil doesn't like to use his gas. Yeah, he likes to just fight.
Do y'all stretch in Dallas?
Oh yeah, we stretch, but we do like matawari for a count of 16, and then we have someone kind of push down on your lower back for another count of 16, and then we do the one where you're kind of sitting with you grab your heels and put your heels in towards your crotch.
Yeah, the butterfly stretch.
Yeah, and then we do the what is that called? The pigeon pose.
Oh yeah, pigeon pose.
And then the bullfrog
like
stretch.
The bullfrog one. Yeah.
Yeah, so we do those, but we only do them just kind of limited. I stretch a little bit on my own just to keep myself limber, but
good. Because our stretching is very limited. We work in rounds of 3 minutes on, 1 minute off. Actually, I did that because from amateur boxing, I just like the structure of training for 3 minutes on and then having that 1 minute break. So for our stretching, which we honestly don't do very often because we also come very late, like we were talking about. It's supposed to be 1 round of the koshiwari, which is like the hamstring stretch, and then after that it's the warm up to the matawari for 1 minute. I mean for 1 round. But that's like all. If we do stretch, if we even do stretch, that's all we do really. And then we do the shikos. Then we'll go into we do like the shikos. We do the shuriashi going straight. Then we have it to where like we have one where we pivot to the right and we pivot to the left. Each of these are like 1 round. So like 1 round going straight, 1 round going right, 1 round going left, 1 round
consistent
like
movement.
The little hops. Yeah. So consistent movement. And like you know how Justin does like the little hops he does.
Yeah.
We put that into the program. So it's like 1 round of little hops and then 1 round of the big hops. Then we had the butsukari. Then I don't actually know what it's called, but we call it the train. It's the one where they just stand behind each other and they just like walk around in the shuriashi in a circle.
Yeah.
That was the least favorite one.
Yeah.
From everybody.
That's for conditioning though. That's
to
increase the gas tank.
Very very mentally draining because you're dying and like yeah.
And then, but during those moments it helps when you're facing guys that are bigger than you, for sure, because that endurance does help out a lot, and especially those hops, because I saw Justin do that during a tournament. He grabbed something he kind of like did little hops towards the corner, and I'm pretty sure it was Caleb who was facing. I could be wrong on that. But.
I've noticed that the smaller guys could use those hops or those. They kind of look like they're undulating their entire body.
Right?
Push that guy. That's pretty amazing.
That's when you figure out who has a strong head at that time, because they usually like put it right in your chest, and you look afterwards like I have a big hole in my chest.
I do too. Jared Tadlock and his giant head of armor, like I constantly have bruises all over my chest, just like, boom.
For us, that was Nick, and I think it's funny because like I think a couple people told him that, and he was like, "All right, I'll ease off on my head a little."
Oh no, you got to use it.
And I'm like, no, you want to do that during competition. You want to make people feel uncomfortable. Just not me.
Yeah, you gotta be a little. I'm still trying to get used to the fact of using my head as a weapon like that. You know?
I love that. Because the head is very very solid. If you like know how to headbutt people, it's very solid. Yeah.
And I keep trying to tell him. Effective. I keep trying to tell him too. He's got those long arms. He should be doing more like Supari and stuff.
I'm still trying to get used to Supari, but I don't know. Since I started, I just have like this weird belt fixation. I just always like to go. If I have the belt, I feel like I have better control of their center of gravity. If I can't get the belt, then
that is true. But she is right. You have those long arms. You will destroy a lot of people.
He's and one built like Abi.
And one of the things that you want to do if you're going to go for that style is train your back, And the thing is like for me, and the reason why I'm decent at it or good, I don't know. Some people say I'm good. I think I'm decent. It's because I have a boxing background.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm used to punching a bag consistently, and I noticed that during practice, if you get to a heavy bag and you just practice pushing it back and forth, especially those heavy bags,
Yeah.
it eventually adds up, and your back will be sore for sure.
Nice.
A lot like I know that there's a saying. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't call it a saying, but in the gym, a lot of people will say like the front muscles, like like your chest and your front delts and that that kind of stuff, your biceps. They say, oh, the front muscles are for show, but all your power is actually from your back, which is pretty true. so it just in general, you should definitely like the back is a very undertrained muscle group for a lot of people because when you're like working out and you're flexing in the mirror, you see your front. You don't.
Yeah.
People don't pay attention to
right.
that. Yeah, but that's like where like all the muscle, like that's where all the power and everything is. Yeah.
I think I only started really training my back because of anime. It was have you ever seen no Hajime no Ippo?
Yeah. We were talking about that.
That dude has crazy back muscles, and the fact he was lifting stuff all the time was why he had such power. And like in boxing, that's what I wanted. So I was like, I want power.
The one thing about the anime though, in terms of like the muscle, is like when you look at the characters, you're like, yeah, goddamn, they're swole. But then when you hear the weight class, you're like, oh, that's supposed to be a featherweight, and he's why does he look like he's 170 pounds of muscle?
like 6'3", swole as hell, but you only weigh 125 pounds.
Yeah. I remember when I realized that, I was like, oh, what the hell?
So, do you guys, so like with boxing and any other type of like sports or anything that you've done like that, have you noticed any kind of like cultural difference between the type of folks that like to do boxing and the folks that kind of are attracted to sumo?
I don't know how to phrase that. How to say what I'm thinking.
Well, what I'll say is that we get a lot of people who, in boxing, people will come into a boxing gym knowing what boxing is. A lot of people will come to sumo and they're like, kind of like, oh, what is this? No matter if they're from like another martial art or whatever, or just random people who will maybe see our class. Like I said before, our sumo classes are actually on the schedule for the gym. Yeah. And sometimes people will just see the class on like the app, be like, what is, we have sumo here? And they'll come and then they'll see it, and then they'll go through training. Just completely random people. So I'll say that some of the people that will join our sumo group have like, they're very open and they're very like Paul was saying earlier. I'm having trouble phrasing this, but
right now, as of right now, I'm trying to get some fighters in that sumo ring with us. A couple actual MMA competitors right now.
Nice.
I have one buddy I went to high school with. He trains with like Jacob Silva and Adrian Yanez, like the people in the UFC and Dana White's Contender. And I looked at them and I'm like, hey man, when you can come do my workout, man? And I was like, I've done your workout before. We trained before together. Like, when you come do my workout, and he was like, after this fight, because he has a fight like in 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
He was like, after this fight, I'll come do training. And I was like, because the thing is, if you're able to get one fighter to actually say that our workouts are hard, then
a lot of legitimacy. like if he comes to trains and he's like, and people are like, oh, I saw you did that. He's like, oh yeah, that shit was actually harder than we thought. Because like, I mean, when you look at the Shikos, they don't look that hard, but when you start doing them, you're like, oh, god damn. And then,
there are people that sit here and still judge us too. I'm not going to put names, but Nick knows who I'm talking about. I don't even know the guy's name anyways. But,
yeah.
He'll come by and yell stuff and be like, well, that wouldn't actually work in this martial art. And I'm like 3 seconds away of just like, when my knee's better, I'll go into that ring if you come into the ring with me. I'll MMA fight you if you come sumo fight me.
Nice.
I don't even know if he does MMA. Like, I don't know. Does he? Oh,
yeah.
Because I know, because he did talk about like BJJ before. He's like, well, in BJJ we don't do that. I'm like, well, this ain't BJJ, bro.
Right. We've ran into those times.
Every martial art's different. I told them, like, I mean, I've done wrestling, I've done Muay Thai, I've done boxing, done kickboxing. I've done a little bit of everything. Am I great at any of them? No, but I still did them.
In a way, I feel like that's kind of a benefit for sumo, if I could use that word, because then sumo tends to attract people who are more open-minded, you know, which I think is a good thing to have, like, in the sumo community, because you're going to learn more that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we've ran into folks like that. The gym that we train at is a jujitsu gym, and there was like a little bit of a schedule mix-up where because we end at 2 p.m. on Sundays, but I think the owner had put 12 noon on accident for an open mat call, and so there was like all of these randos just showing up like while we're still doing suriashi, and they're like, "Oh, what are you guys?" It's like, "Oh, well, it's not. We're here until 2. There's been some sort of mix-up." He goes, "What are y'all doing?" We're like, "Oh, we're doing sumo." "Oh, you guys are doing sambo?" We're like, "Oh, no, sumo." And he's all like, "Oh, well, I don't play those kinds of games." And we're just like, "Oh, whatever, dude. I didn't know you were cool."
Yeah. Paul. Just a little small tangent. I've seen that guy. Like sometimes I see him walk up to the speed bag and like he's like messing with it, but I'm like looking at him. I'm like, "Do you know what you're doing?" And he walks away, and I just walk up there and I just start going to a good rhythm and everything like that. I'm like, "Yeah, you talk shit, but you can't even use the speed bag." That was just a little tangent I wanted there.
Just throw that out there real quick.
Just throw that out there.
So from like all of your other martial arts and athletic backgrounds, has there been any type of either like exercises or any type of training routines that you might have taken from your respective backgrounds and kind of incorporated it into your sumo training?
Yeah, like he was talking about how he was incorporating some of the boxing.
Yeah,
I still currently box with the boxing coach at Athletic. I've been out for about a month and a half because I got injured during the tournament in February. But as soon as my knee's back, I'm going back to training boxing and sumo. Well, I take that back. I'm still training sumo because I'm hard-headed and I don't want to.
No, I feel
training.
He's at the very least spectating and gathering skills visually
through osmosis. Yeah, I still, because even though I'm not practicing, I still try to show up and help out the people that are training. Because if me and Nick are training, hard, it's kind of hard for us to focus on everybody at the same time. So the fact that as of right now, it's been kind of working out. Every time he's injured, I'm not injured. Every time I'm injured, he's not injured. So it's been working out as a coaching thing for a while. But yeah, I mean, for sure, it's a lot better for a lot of people because, like, during the train, I noticed a lot of people try to go up a little higher, and I'm like, "Hey, get back down!" Like, they're like, "Oh, my legs are killing me." I'm like, "I know, but you still have to do it." We're trying to get people ready, but of course, to a certain extent, where we're not overexerting them. Like, if they're like, "Oh, I'm about to black out," well, yeah, obviously, sit down, drink some water. Like, we're not trying to kill people.
So, for your experience, Paul, because you said that. I don't know why I'm asking the question, but you said that you did wrestling and BJJ and that stuff as well. When you say wrestling, was that like freestyle Greco-Roman or was that like the pro or both or all three?
I've never done pro wrestling as much as I would like to. It's just they go through a lot of endurance training, and like I said, I'm not about that life. I like the boxing training in the aspect of hitting the bag and stuff, but those 3-mile runs, I'm not about that.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
But whenever it comes to incorporating different training methods, I noticed that we a little bit of the fall. I kind of forgot a little bit about it, but
we just did the break falls. Because we just started this month, and we started practicing bros and. We definitely need to make sure some of our newer members know how to, row the ukemi, know how to row and what not to make, not break the neck and all that kind of stuff. So just this last practice, we really focus on instead of where we normally spend like 40 minutes drilling like different kimarates, we instead just spent like 40 minutes just doing break falls with our new members and kind of teaching them how to be safe and whatnot.
Because not a lot of people like to roll. Not a lot of people like to fall, and so we got to teach people like you gotta fall properly, because if you do fall, you don't want to injure yourself. You want to be able to roll it out. I noticed that at least for me, rolling's quite easy for me, but I think that's also because of wrestling.
Yeah.
I feel like wrestling is the reason why I can roll. I know a lot of our members don't know how to roll, so that's why it's like very important to teach them that. And I always have to show examples, and I was trying to show too many examples yesterday. Kind of hurt not yesterday, on Sunday. And I kind of hurt my knee a little bit more, but It's okay, you know. That's what knee braces are for.
Yeah.
That's kind of exactly why I've been thinking about trying to participate in some of the Dallas Sumo Club practices because I have RA, rheumatoid arthritis, which is
Mhm.
like a degenerative joint disease. So remembering back when I've, tripped over the sidewalk and how I would fall, it would be directly on my knees and on my hands.
Yeah.
So now that my joints are all fucked up, I'm like, damn, I really got to learn how to fall in a less destructive way.
And it really is kind of you're kind of almost going against instinct by learning how to fall
Yeah.
correctly, you know. And so I could definitely see that being like being kind of hard for folks to wrap their head around.
Yeah.
It's really important for us because I also do have a member that just joined that has I want to say a broken back, but he has a messed up back.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
to the
it's fucked.
Damn.
Yeah, his back is pretty bad. Like, to the point, like, he really, really wanted to try sumo. He did the class and everything, and he was like, "Man, my back's killing me." So he had to go see a doctor, and the doctor told him like, "Oh yeah, like you can sumo, just don't spar people."
Dang.
So we have to work with him on that part. But he loves the workouts. Like,
Oh, that's
he
awesome.
was like, "Man, I've never done workouts like this where my legs like." I love seeing people do the penguin walk the day after the first class. And it's funny to watch people. When it happened to me, it wasn't as funny. But
Those spaghetti legs.
but it's one of the best feelings because it shows that our workouts are actually working, and people think that our workouts probably don't work because we're fat and
Yeah.
we have to be out of shape and this and that. I'm like, a lot of the people that are big that I've trained with and faced in competitions, they ain't fat. Like
Yeah.
they are strong, muscular. Think of it like a coat of armor. Like,
And you just got to be really strong to carry around that much weight
Yeah.
to begin with.
yep.
It's kind of
A lot
funny
of- a lot
Paul
of core
talking about the people who are like they like look fat and that kind of stuff. And right now, I'm basically like out of commission in terms of like training and sparring for like honest like a year or something like that because I had like 2 car accidents and whatnot, and
Oh.
so like get like MRI and they're like, oh, rupture like herniated disc, ruptured disc. Now we're like in middle of lawsuit and everything, so I can't like compete just because the car accidents and because sumo is an impact sport and everything like that, so can't really mess with my neck too much. It takes, and I had to take my time to let it heal. And where was I going with this? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So because I'm basically out of commission right now, because before when I started sumo, like before it was like freshly after I stopped boxing, and that was when I was keeping at a certain weight for competition all the time. I didn't cut weight before really. I just wanted to be comfortable and fight at my walk around weight. So I was around like 142 kind of thing because I didn't want to cut weight and then be weak and that kind of stuff. So when I started boxing, I was 142, and then I went to the Consulates Cup like 2 months later. I was like probably like basically like same thing, 146 or something, 148. I did start bulking up a little bit, and then I think toward the beginning of 2021, I forgot which tournament it was, but it was like some event where I really bulked up, and I went all the way up to like 187, like really fast. And then now that I can't compete, I was telling Paul. I still remember I was making a semi joke, but it's not actually a joke. I was like, you know what? I think one of the ways that we can, because we do a lot of events. I think we've done like 7 events in the past year or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think one of the best ways to get people interested in sumo is to see that it's not just big fat guys in diapers, as y'all were saying. So I was like, okay, guys, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lose a bunch of weight, and I'm gonna get really aesthetic, so that once I can be a poster boy for sumo. Because actually, when I was at the event in Dallas, my friend I brought with me, she lives in Dallas, and she was gonna be, as she said it, your gunby girl, because she liked sumo. She thought it was really cool and all of that. But she didn't want to, wrestle because she was like nervous of getting hurt and stuff like that. Corey and I tried to tell her, it's like, we're not gonna throw you in there with everyone, get you sparring in like the first minute. You calm down. You're overthinking things.
Yeah.
But overall, what she said that kind of made me think about it was like, I don't know if she wants me to say this, but she but she was like, oh, man, I'll go to their sumo practice if I get to see all these men here.
Oh,
so then so then
I
like
kind of understand her perspective.
yeah. So then like a week after that, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, well, I can't really like. I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, now since I can't compete for like a year or two, I can take the time and lose weight and then gain back in the muscle and all of that stuff like I was planning to do on an actual good schedule instead of just bulking the hell up like I did before.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, maybe I can get a little aesthetic and then maybe that will make people more interested. So
I was like, damn good-looking guys in sumo for sure.
Yeah, like Justin is cut. Like he's 187 of like just muscle. like
Yeah.
how Justin is. Yeah.
So I remember during Justin's
Real
Shogeki.
quick, I really hate to interrupt you, but Zoom's doing a thing, so we have to stop this, and then we do still have some more questions.
But we're probably gonna have to send another meeting link.
Let's go ahead and
Okay, we're
end
gonna
this.
go ahead and end. We'll send you guys the email like as soon as like it's probably gonna be like maybe 2 or 3 minutes if that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks,
Hey.
guys.
Hey,
See you soon.
peace.
Okay, so we're recording now, and Paul has put a shirt on.
Yeah.
It's a cool shirt
Right
though.
there.
Oh, woo!
Show me the pepperonis.
There goes. Opening video.
Has this become an all nude chat? We're almost done here. Let's go ahead and keep on moving along.
Okay, going back to like like to training and since you guys had started the club, has there been any students that you guys have had that you've just witnessed like extraordinary growth that you're just particularly proud of?
Oh yeah. Me. Just like I felt so full of myself.
Well, I mean, that's not far off because like Paul kind of because when Paul started,
At the other club, sadly.
with Champion, like I mentioned at the very beginning, how that's like a whole nother story. When we moved to Shogeki, you were only maybe a month or so, like maybe two, maybe 3 months into training, right? Like not that much.
Yeah.
And Paul was actually the person I was kind of focused on, like making sure he got everything right and down, and so he could like dominate is how I was trying to set him up. But the person I was thinking about before was actually Omar, because well, because Omar doesn't have any kind of sports background or like weightlifting or really any background that would help him.
He was that
sports, to be
example I was
honest.
given earlier. No sports or nothing.
Nothing. So like it's really cool seeing like how good he's gotten in terms of like relative to where he started. Like I remember seeing him like in the very first time he would come in, like when we were at the other club, and I mean training was really relaxed over there. Like we would do like 10 shikos maximum, like, and then like the shuriashi was very relaxed too. And I remember seeing Omar like getting very gassed out in the shuriashi, and I'm like, man, we're like 5-10 minutes into training, and then now seeing him now, well, not now because he's gotten busy with school, but like a month ago or two when he was like still really active, seeing like just how he was able to like follow through the workout and everything was like loved it.
No.
But yeah, Omar seeing like how he basically started from nothing and seeing like how he progressed was like really good. Yeah.
Nice.
Same thing with Turk, but Turk had background though. Turk
had
for
background.
As small as the guy he is, he's really good.
He's really fucking good.
Nice.
In general.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's the same situation, kind of like with the back problems, because he was like, he worked in like I forget everything he said, but like firefighter, and then he said he was like he dabbled in law enforcement, but he was also like in emergency rescue or something like that. So
damn.
he had like very jobs that were very strenuous on the body. So like he destroyed his back. So he left us about 2 months ago. He's not like leaving the group and everything, but he hasn't been able to train for a while because he's trying to save up money to get like another stem cell shot for his back to help him recover. Because like, oh my God, when he said he destroyed his back, he was telling stories about like how the doctors told him like he wouldn't be able to walk and stuff like that. And now he was like training with us and like doing everything. So he's getting his back situation fixed, and I think he's gonna join us back in maybe like a month, because he just told me like a week ago that he just got a new job, so his schedule's clearing up, that kind of stuff. So we may see him back soon.
Nice.
Yep. Excited.
Yeah, he's like a lightweight. He was like 160, and he was kind of bulk because he doesn't compete, but he trains MMA. So I guess he doesn't have to keep his weight at a strict weight. So he bulked up a little bit. When he was like with us still, he was like, "Oh, I'm 170 something. I'm bulking up for lightweight or something like that." So he was really good. Like Paul said, he had the background, and like he had like a lot of. Well, I don't know if when I talked to him, it sounded like he had wrestling background. Yeah, like he. I want to say a lot from what he's told me.
I'll say for sure his hands for A1.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember we fake sparred. I threw a jab and he hit me with the 3-piece, and I'm like, oh Jesus, he's so quick.
Yeah. Turk is. It's interesting though, because Turk, he's on a quick tangent. Like he's 170, but then when you look at him, like you don't like I wouldn't say he's like 140, because like he's taller-ish than me. I mean, I'm not that tall, so I wouldn't say he's maybe like 5'10", right, Paul? Maybe.
But the thing, he's so cut.
He's so lean. So I'm like this dude has like the densest bones ever. Cause like how the fuck are you 170? Which is good for him. I'm like, you good. You got really dense bones. You got strong bones, but damn. I was like, how are you 170 right now?
It seems like you and Turk are doing the same thing. Y'all are trying to gain the weight. I'm the opposite, trying to drop down. So I remember
most people are dropping. Yeah.
So I remember we did that video with what was it, Sake and Sumo? Was it Sake and Sumo where they came by, and we did a video with them. They came by and actually trained us with Justin.
Yeah, it wasn't Sake and Sumo, but Justin and Dark Circle and Kayla from Mighty Eagle came down to train with us one time. We did like a little seminar. We invited a bunch of like newbies and stuff.
I wanted to go to that. That was at the beginning of the year, right? Of this year?
Yes.
Correct. And that was the video. I was very confident in myself before the knee injury. And I was like 265. That's where I'm staying. I'm not lowering weight. I'm trying to go after big boys. I'm going heavy. My knee injury happened, and I was like, I think I'm going to go to middleweight.
Yeah.
So now I'm in the process of trying to drop it like 40 pounds. Because, with that being said, when you're lighter, it's better for your knees.
Yeah.
And then, because the thing is, I walk around normally around 280, maybe 290. And I remember before the competition, I did not diet or, I mean, I trained, but when you train and eat McDonald's all day, you ain't gonna drop weight. So I ended up having to drop like 20 pounds within a week.
Ooh,
for the tournament.
What?
Yeah, for the
The one
tournament.
that you compete against, the Texas Classic, yeah.
Yeah, Texas Classic,
week?
and I was very, very weak that tournament.
Dude.
Like I was very exhausted and tired, and it was but overall it was a lot of fun. I still got 4th place for as tired as I was, so can't complain too much. I did better during my first one for sure, because I didn't drop any weight during my first one. But that first one I did open weight. I think I got like 3rd or 4th place also.
Oh, nice.
Not throwing shade at the other competitors, but I feel like if Paul did not have to cut that weight and wasn't so dehydrated and everything, I feel like he could have. he would at least have gotten 3rd place, and I feel like I would be pretty confident that he could have got 2nd if he wasn't in such a very weak position.
Yeah, because that morning was the worst. Because the morning
he
was
lost
the
like
worst.
8 pounds that morning, right? You said, right?
Yeah, it was like 8 pounds. The morning of, I woke up at around 6 in the morning, put on a sauna suit, and ran like 3 or 4 miles, and was able to drop the weight at all water. Didn't drink nothing at all, because like I was like pumped though. Like as soon as I walked in there, we were gonna do the weigh-ins. Yeah, we didn't do weigh-ins.
Yeah, I remember actually watching Hajime no Ippo. Actually, one of those, I can't remember the character. He's kind of like the
Takamura.
Yeah, whenever he was doing all of that weight cutting, like that was intense. I was like, geez, don't hurt yourself, dude.
Yeah, that could be dangerous for sure.
Yeah,
It luckily I had 3 friends with me that were with me the whole time, because I don't think I would have been able to drop that on my own. Like, in all honesty, if I did do that by myself, I don't think I would have, because as soon as I felt a little lightheaded, I probably would have just stopped and be like, you know what, I'm just going to heavyweight for this tournament. But yeah, luckily I had my friends with me, so we had a very, very, very expensive, nice hotel because we did not plan ahead of time and get a hotel. And apparently there was an event in San Antonio, so all the
Oh
hotels were
no.
booked.
Oh.
Like
Yeah, I
all
remember
the
I was
really,
asking you
really
about that
priced
too.
ones.
Like
And
before. Yeah.
like weeks before, did you get your room yet? Nah, I'm just gonna go up there and get one. Are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, man. I've been to San Antonio plenty of times. There's always rooms. And not this time. We ended up having to pay, I think it was like $500 for that night. Because it was like some kind of country club, golf course, water park thing place. And of course they're gonna have rooms. They're $500 a night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we ended up being there, and overall still worth it. You know, I enjoyed the tournament. I enjoyed anybody I face against. I'm a very competitive person.
Hell yeah.
Like if you ever, I don't know, I'm pretty sure y'all talked to Caleb, but like Caleb from day one has always been my goal. And I remember like I was like, I'm gonna beat Caleb. He's my goal. And then when I faced Justin, I couldn't beat him. I was like, all right, Justin's my goal. I'm gonna beat Justin. And it was the same thing with Corey, because when I faced Corey at Tokyo Night, he got me. So I was like, I got to beat him next time I see him. I remember I saw him and he was like, I was like, I'm gonna get you this time, Corey. And he was like, I thought you won the one in Tokyo Night. And I'm like, no, you won that one. I was like, I thought I'm coming back for this one.
Corey's got some wicked edge game. Like seriously, like you get him right on the Tawara, and then he just kind of dances you around outside, and it's just.
And I copy a lot of his moves. That's how I'm able to get. Like if you look at the May tournament, there was a guy that like bum rushed me. I think he was new, but he was very, very strong. I think they said he was like 19.
Oh,
and
wow.
he was.
May?
You know who I'm talking about? Really, really buff.
May tournament?
I'm sorry, February. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, May tournament. What are you talking?
I'm gonna say February. My bad.
You're talking about the Asian kid, right? Tanabe? I don't know his first name. But he's part of Dark Circle.
And I remember, bro, he pushed me back like nothing. I did not expect that strength off of him.
Oh,
and when he was pushing me back like nothing, I was like, oh crap, he already got me to the corner. What do I do? I was like, oh man, what do people normally do? And like you said, Corey usually does that hip turn, which that's what I've been trying to teach a lot of people. Nick knows that's one of my favorite moves now.
Yeah.
Because it's the ultimate move when you're facing someone bigger than you and stronger than you. So that's. I'm in a interview. Y'all say hi.
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 How's it going? What's her name?
Her name is Eve.
Oh.
Hi.
She's my first daughter. She likes to watch me sumo all the time.
When are you gonna get a little Mawashi on her?
Eventually. That's the ultimate goal.
We do have kid Mawashis though.
Yes, we do.
A gift from Tom Zabel from Mighty Ego.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the open when we started Shogeki, he wanted to gift us that as a way to get kids. Because before when we were doing the shows, we had a lot of kids, but we couldn't like really put the Mawashis on them because
correct.
They're too big. So he's like, here, when you do these shows, here's the kid Mawashi, so you can actually put it on the kids. So that actually we had a recent show in February 21st for Lunar New Year's. We were able to use the kid Mawashis on a bunch of them.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I started noticing some Japanese videos where they're like having elementary school aged kids do sumo. That they're still they're not even really wearing mawashis. They're like wearing gait belts. They're like little belts that are to help try to like lift people up. For like physical therapy. But yeah, these kids just have gait belts on and they're still lifting each other up by these little belts and just tossing each other around.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see what I could do about trying to get kids involved, and especially in my tribe, but you guys just actually gave me a really brilliant idea. I could just start using those gate belts before I could get some kid watches. Okay, you guys are geniuses.
Hell yeah. Get that next generation of fucking sumo wrestlers started, dude.
Hell yeah.
Well, the thing is, I love when we do the shows and the kids are around because, like I told Nick, doing shows is one of my favorite things because you'll have kids cheer for you the whole time.
Hell
and
yeah.
I remember I had like a little entourage of kids that literally stayed for the whole. I think we did like 3 shows that day or 2 shows.
Oh, yeah, it was that day it was like 3.
And that day they were just like,
I think we had 4 planned, but we did 3.
They were just like, let's go, Paul, let's go. And I'm like, oh, they ain't saying my name. Like, I feel nice. And those shows are like the best thing ever because that's the only time I feel like full of myself because I'm like, people want to take pictures with me because I'm in a mawashi. People want to, you know, say hi to the sumo wrestlers. And,
I don't think I ever posted pictures of that event.
I don't think you
No,
did.
I did not. I should. Talking about, I was thinking about the pictures. Like, wait, I never posted those.
I haven't made a video in a month, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, bro, I don't have any footage. I forgot I have all that footage from that event.
Yeah, you. Yeah, but I love doing the shows and then walking around in the mawashis, and then everyone's like looking at you because you're like, I'm naked basically. Other than
have you ever had anybody say like something really weird to you about it? Like, what's the weirdest reaction that you've had from someone?
I was walking after an event. It was an Asia Society where we picked up Kim, our new member. We were walking out towards the end after everything. The event was closed down, and there was like a couple of cops. And I think Paul was next to me when it happened. We were just walking, and the two cops, one of the two cops started like busted out laughing, and then he kind of walked up to me. He's like, man, you have a lot of balls to be walking like this. It was also cold as shit. It was like 40 degrees or something like that. I've been walking around in my mawashi, like no biker shorts or anything. He's like, you have a lot of balls for walking out here like that.
Especially 40 degrees.
I know.
That was probably the most interesting interaction I've had with someone mentioning the mawashi.
The most awkward interaction for Omar, we learned about that during chankonabe night, was when those two drunk women were, take it off.
Yeah. It was during our Tokyo Night Festival when we had the tournament in September. Yeah, wait, was it that one?
No, it was no, I think it was that one.
It was that one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that one.
They kept yelling. They're like, Omar. No, wait, he wasn't there.
No, it was the other one. That's right.
It was
because he didn't compete in Tokyo.
I don't remember which event.
It was during the show.
Yeah. It was during one of the shows. The girl was like, Omar. They're like yelling. They're like trying to get his attention and everything.
Just praying for a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah.
You guys had mentioned Tom Zabel, so and obviously it sounds like that. You've read the book. The guy literally wrote the book about sumo.
Yeah.
But do you guys adhere to the belt system that he has, or do you guys have any interest in the belt system?
I'm gonna do the belt testing. I can't force people to do it, but I would encourage people to do it. And one of the main ways I try to encourage people to do is I actually say the names of the moves. like when you guys were talking about the twisty turny thing, in my head I was thinking about it's uchari, which is when you get them to the edge and you pick them up at the end and lift them out. And one of the ways that I don't make it like at the beginning of Keiko. I'm not like, okay guys, get your pens and paper level and learn these words. But whenever we do the moves, I will make a point to say it out. And I'm hoping that as I keep saying it, that they will eventually remember. So if we do go to the belt testing thing, which is going to be in May, Paul, that people will be able to, at the very least, kind of maybe remember the name and know it. Because you have to know the names of the techniques and all and the phrasing and terminology and everything like that to actually pass the belt ranking system.
And that's where I have the hardest time, is remembering the words and everything, because whenever let's say Nick's out and I have to coach the class, I'm like, all right, we're doing the twist thing, and it's written there on paper, and I'm just like, how twist, we're doing the twist.
We're the twist. Yeah, there's a few kimarite where I'm like that. So the kakanage where they kind of lift your leg up to. So
yeah.
Do you guys watch pro sumo?
I kind of watch it because when I do watch it, I want to watch it live. But since live is at 1 a.m., I don't get to watch it very often.
So you guys know Aqua.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So that we don't call it the kakanage. It's the aqua leg thing. So all of the different moves have so it's not the tsuridashi, it's the Tochinoshin lift out,
Yeah.
Actually, that's the way I remember it.
So many times when we're recording our episodes, we'll have to stop and delete and go back because it's usually me trying to say tsukuridashi or some shit. But yeah, through the magic of editing.
Yeah, know. It's funny.
I sound
too.
like I know what I'm talking about.
And watching so much live streams and highlights of sumo, it's funny because now I'm starting to get to the point where I could kind of pick out what they're saying and parts of like Japanese grammar. And I'm like, oh wow, it's starting to coalesce. Not quite, but.
Well, I think it's almost time to wrap up. We did have one more question, which
That's
I think
okay.
is actually the most important question. What advice would you guys give to someone who wants to start their own sumo club?
Dedication. It takes a lot of dedication to have a club. A lot of time. You need time. So if you know, it's it is a lot of work, honesty. But I mean, I would recommend anyone start a club.
Ultimately, like he said, it's dedication, because you have to realize that when you start the club, you're not likely going to get like 10 members out of nowhere. You might be lucky to get one member after a month, depending on what area you're in. I mean, we're in Houston, one of the most diverse cities, where there's a shit ton of population and all of that, and we have trouble. But I mean, you had to put it into perspective, because I was telling Pedro this, one of our other members, when we were doing a show, he's like, is it worth it to do the show? We might not get anyone. But when you put it into perspective, or you think about it like this, is that in Japan itself, the homeland of sumo, I mean, they've made documentaries on about like the decline of sumo. So like in those documentaries, they'll talk about like, man, some of these university clubs or some of these elementary clubs and middle school clubs, they're having trouble recruiting people. I'm like, so if you want to think about it in perspective, the homeland of sumo is in a way kind of having trouble recruiting people in their own place. So you can't expect in America to be able to just like pull a whole bunch of people out of nowhere. Just, you have to realize that in its own home birthplace, they have their own trouble currently right now with elementary school, middle school, and that kind of stuff, recruiting. So like, you can't be too hard on yourself. You're like, why don't we have more people? We're doing all these shows, we're putting all of this effort in. Is like, you're gonna have the trouble, like, no question about it, to get started. You just, like Paul was saying, you have to have the dedication to stick with it and be there for the moment that someone does want to join, that you're there, so you guys can, come together, and then hopefully then more people and more people and more people.
So kind of like just like stay consistent,
Yeah.
but don't expect way too much, way too soon, kind of.
And also try to avoid the haters, because I'm not gonna put names out there, but I've had a couple people, they tell us like, hey, why are you doing these anime shows or these festivals? Like, you're not gonna hire good talent off of that. You won't find anybody good doing those kind of events. And I'm like, bro, I came from an anime event, like,
Exactly, right?
I the thing about recruiting people from other sports is that you have to understand, probably at the end of the day, if you recruit someone from another sport, that martial art, that whatever combat sport that they came from, that's probably going to be their number one. They probably, if they do recruit someone from, let's say, judo, and they do enjoy sumo, and then they come for practice, your 2 times a week, 3 times a week practice, and then whatever life event that comes into their life, and they had to give one or the other up, they're probably going to give up sumo. So you can try, like that's my one argument. Like, I would love to recruit people from like the other martial arts, and I still try to, but you have to be realistic. Like, because we've had people like that. We have many people that we got from other martial arts. They come, and then one thing or another happens, and then now they have to choose one to give up because maybe they don't have as much time, and they're gonna give up sumo.
No.
Honestly, the people who I've seen who've been the most dedicated to it have been from like the anime fandom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that definitely. From what I have seen as well.
And I think like another big obstacle is also just the kind of mentality that people in this country, the stereotypes that they hold about what sumo is and what kind of people would do sumo. That would probably be a big obstacle as well. You mentioned how it's becoming less popular in Japan. We definitely have opinions on how that can be avoided and, things that we as like Westerners think that JSA should be doing. But I mean, we don't have to go over that right now.
That'll be another Zoom call.
I was about to say, we could have a whole other what do we want to tell the JSA kind of.
It's like, y'all need to modernize.
I think if you like really boil it down, like in for the public opinion, like not talking about like the safety and stuff. I know we said that, but I think if you really boil it down, I think for the general population, I think the reason why they might not want to put their kids into sumo is because of how it's evolved into the fact that they are really big guys doing it, and the average lifespan is like 10, 15 years shorter than the average Japanese folk.
That's a good point.
And I think for a lot of, because in Japan, everyone's so thin there, just like generally. So I think when they see sumo, and like even though it's their birthplace, they because in the documentary that's kind of what they talked about. That part of the decline is because they're like, man, people are worried about their kids like getting really into it and then gaining a bunch of weight because they want to, they're like really dedicated. And then because they talk about, they've done interviews like the other, like I think middle schools and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, your son needs to gain like 20 kilograms, which is like 40
pounds.
like 44 pounds.
Yeah.
Right. And then, so for these parents, they're like, oh shit, can my son, like, can he healthily gain 44 pounds in the span of like the summer and still be healthy and things like that? So like, I like, yeah, like definitely for, like you said about the JSA and that kind of stuff, but just sumo in general, cause like that was one of the reasons that Chiyono Fuji is like one of my favorite wrestlers. It's just, he's awesome and everything, but just the fact that he was so dominant while being pretty cut. Like he was not that, like when you look at him, you don't think, oh, like big fat sumo wrestler. Like when you look at him, you're like, goddamn, right?
Yeah.
My mom thinks he's the sexiest.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. A lot of people do.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's awesome. But and like I think because like a lot of people, they have like you were saying, like how they have that thought that when they look at sumo, they're like, oh, the big fat guys in diapers. So I think that's honestly one of the big problems. But at the same time, in Japan, JSA, they're like you were talking about, like they're very traditional. They're like, oh, we don't care. This is how we're doing things. This is, I don't care what other people say. Which in their own right, like I'm like I get it. They're like, you know what? I don't care what other people say. This is sumo.
Yeah.
If the guys get really big because they want to get that weight advantage, then okay, and all of that stuff. Yeah.
That's one of the best thing about westernizing it right now, that there's actually weight classes. So it's a lot. It's easier to try to get people in with us having weight classes, because a lot of people automatically assume you're gonna be facing 400-pound, 500-pound dudes. And I'm like, well, that's only if you do open weight. I'm like, if you stick in your own weight class, I mean, you'll face people your size.
Which is also fun, but
yeah, those lightweight matches, man. Those are some frenetic matches.
Those are some of my favorites, honestly. And I think if we can show people, have you guys ever seen some of the dudes on like the Russian sumo teams and what they look like? If we could show people in the US, this is a sumo wrestler, like an amateur style sumo wrestler, maybe that would help get more people interested in it as well.
Yeah, those Europeans, I followed the Norwegian sumo team, and those guys are just cut, and they're vicious too, just like watching those guys. So I think Europe, they're a little bit further ahead as far as, sumo recruitment goes. They've got all kinds of different body types, and they got some of the meanest lightweights I've seen.
Oh, I think we lost Paul.
Oh, Paul? Oh, no.
Well, I think that might be a good place to stop anyway. Paul, if you could still hear us. Oh no.
Here he is.
There he is. All right, guys. I think that's about it. That's
the thing's giving us another thing. So real quick before we go, do you guys have any shout outs, any last words, any things you want to bring out?
Where can we find you on the interbutts?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to learn, see some sumo videos, I'm going to be posting up more on Vaping Sumo Guy. Called Vaping Sumo Guy because I run multiple vape shops, so I do vaping demonstrations and basically devices, open book, And then as I'm going on, of course, I'm going to be adding more and more sumo because, we want more and more people to notice sumo, so that's what we're aiming for.
Oh, yeah. All right, Nicholas, any last words, any last shout outs?
Well, we do technically have an Instagram, but I've been very lazy with I'm not like Corey where I'm just not posting.
Active. He's very active.
He's very good at it. Our Instagram page is shogeki.sumo. Shogeki is SHOGEKI.sumo. So if there is one, that would be the one to follow as well.
And if anyone
start posting more.
If anyone wanted to get a hold of you guys that might be listening in the Houston area, if they wanted to get a hold of you to do classes, how would they get a hold of you?
The best way would just to email me at Nicholas, which is Nicholas, the letter M, then TON, the number is 21 at gmail.com. Just say that you're interested in sumo, and then I'll work out the details with you, and then get you into a Mawashi.
All right.
Nice.
would you mind if we put that email address in the description on our video?
Yeah, that's fine.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys. It's been really, really fucking fun talking to you all.
This has been fucking awesome.
Yeah.
We really appreciate
It's
it.
very fun. Yeah, glad to have.
Next goal is try to get first place at the next tournament and get another interview.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, we'll talk to you guys later. Again, thank you so much, and keep up the fighting spirit.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
All right.
Holy fucking shit, those guys are so fucking cool.
Seriously, just a whole lot of fun, and we really need to just go down to Houston and
We
just
do.
go get something to eat and then just wrestle.
It's not in the summertime because it's hot.
Yeah, probably not.
Very humid out there. That was a very long. I think this is actually the longest episode that we've made so far.
It was fucking cool though. I think there was a lot of really good energy in that conversation. I'm glad that it was a good long conversation.
Of course, it's going to take a while to interview two people at once, and we just kind of got carried away anyway. So fuck it. I think
it's our show. God damn it!
It's our show. Time doesn't exist. It's an illusion. Anyway, find us on social media.
We're at
Sumo
Sumo
Punx on the Twitter and
on everywhere but the Twitter.
Yeah, Sumo Punx everywhere but Twitter because I fucked up the Twitter. That one's Punx
At Punk Sumo. But yeah, come talk shit to us. Come say nice things to us if you would rather. Come interact with us.
Yeah, we have no friends except Tay Zonde.